But okay, so that day in our previous class, okay, we were talking about turning points. Okay, and we talked about two types of turning points, which is the maximum turning point and the minimum turning point. Okay, as you can see over here lah. And then the maximum turning point is if the gradient of the tangent shifts from a positive gradient to a negative gradient. Okay, as you can see over here. Manakala minimum turning point, okay, yang paling bawah minimum, okay, is when the gradient changes from negative gradient to positive gradient. Okay, so that's the first thing that we covered last week. And then on top of that, I also taught you how to determine the type of turning point. How you know whether the turning point that you count is a maximum turning point or minimum turning point. Okay, so the first method we learned was to sketch the tangent. Okay, so we calculate the dy dx, we differentiate the equation, then we make the dy dx equals to 0 because the syarat untuk turning point is the dy dx must be equal to 0. But usually, or sometimes, okay, I think if you've done your homework, you will know this lah. Sometimes, some turning points, there's only one turning point, but sometimes you will have two. Okay, so that's the tough part. How do you know whether it is a minimum or maximum turning point? So the first method I taught you was to sketch the tangent. Okay, and then we have this big jadwal, and this is how to show your working lah. Then you have to mention, okay, this point is a minimum turning point. This point is a maximum turning point, depending on how the tangent changes. If it changes from negative to positive, then it's a minimum turning point. If it is the other way around, then it is a maximum turning point. The second way that I taught you was by using the second derivative. Okay, so we differentiate the equation again, and then we sub the x inside. And if we find the x is a positive value, okay, then it is a minimum turning point. If the if the second derivative, kalau d2y dx2 is a positive value, then it's a minimum turning point. If the d2y dx2 is a negative value, okay, then it is a maximum turning point. So these two methods are very important for us lah. Okay, because what we're going to come to, so today what I intend to do with you is, I want to talk about the third type of turning point. Okay, actually not turning point, it's called a stationary point. Okay, the third type of stationary point. So all stationary points, all stationary points are when dy dx equals to 0. Okay, but I've only taught you two so far, which is the maximum turning point and the minimum turning point. There is one more type of stationary point, okay, which we call the point of inflection. Okay, so I purposely held this third one. Saya kasih tunggu sampai hari ini baru saya mau ajar. Okay, the point of inflection, because I wanted you to get that skill of changing dy dx equals to 0, finding the coordinates, and then sub in to the second derivative or sketch the tangent, so you know whether it's a minimum or maximum turning point. Okay, so today I want to explain about what is the point of inflection. So in order to show you this, I want you to take a look at this graph lah. Okay, so there's this graph over here, which is a graph of x to the power of 3 plus 4. If you can see, sorry, if you can see my cursor over here, I'm not sure if you can see. Okay, but the graph, if fx equals to x to the power of 3 plus 4. The 0x we can just abaikan lah. Okay, and this is the shape of our graph. So the purple color over here represents what the graph would look like. Okay, the purple color over here represents what the graph would look like. And of course, the black color line represents the gradient, the tangent. Okay, the tangent on any line of the distance. Now, we find that in this particular graph, okay, on the left-hand side of the graph, the tangent is a positive gradient. Okay, kan sebab dia punya garis adalah ke arah kanan. So, the positive gradient. And then the positive gradient kan makin lama, makin akan menjadi 0. Like this. Okay, so we know this before this, I said that when dy dx equals to 0, it's probably a turning point. Okay, and how you know whether it's a turning point is you look at what happens after the turning point. Does it change from positive to negative or from negative to positive? But in this case, we find that when I make the x bigger, okay, look at the gradient. It returns to becoming positive again. And this is something that we've never discussed in our previous class. I say that if it's positive to negative, it's a maximum turning point. If the gradient is negative to positive, it's a minimum turning point. But in this case, okay, this is positive, 0, and then positive again. So that means that this dy dx equals to 0. Okay, this particular point P lah, 0, 4 kan macam, yeah, 0, 4. This point is what we call a point of inflection. Okay, a point of inflection because the gradient doesn't change sign. Okay, so this is the only condition for the gradient not to change sign. Okay, the gradient don't change sign means dia pergi dari positif lepas tu masih lagi positif. Okay, then that particular point, that particular stationary point is called a point of inflection. Dia bukan maximum turning point, dia bukan minimum turning point sebab dia tidak memenuhi syarat. And it is the same thing kalau dia punya gradient adalah daripada negatif, then lepas point of inflection dia masih lagi negatif. Okay, so it is still, that point is still called a point of inflection. Okay, so the only way we can prove, okay, the point of inflection is by using the sketch tangent method. You cannot use the second derivative method to prove the point of inflection. You can only prove this by using the sketch tangent. Okay, which is why last week I focused a lot. I said you must know how to do the inflection. You must know how to do the jadual. Okay, so let's take for example, if you take a look at page 61, okay, there's an example over there. I'm just going to explain the example. Okay, so you have the equation is y equals to x to the power of 4 minus 4x cubed plus 1. Okay, so the question is find the stationary points lah. Okay, find the stationary points. This is the question. Okay, now we know that there are 3 types of stationary points. Number 1 is a maximum turning point. Number 2 is a minimum turning point. And number 3 is a point of inflection. Okay, remember, maximum turning point is positive become negative. Minimum turning point is negative become positive. Point of inflection is positive go to positive or negative go to negative. But you can only prove it using sketch tangent. Okay, so we do the same thing that we've been doing all this while. What is the first thing you do is you differentiate this first. When we differentiate this, according to the textbook, I'm just going to take straight from the textbook. It will give us 4x cubed minus 12x squared. Okay, differentiate this lah. Differentiate a 1, you will get 0. Okay, and then as always, in order to find stationary points, okay, we want to have dy dx equals to 0. So we have 0 equals to 4x cubed minus 12x squared. Okay, and according to this one, if we want to factorize out 4x squared, we will get x minus 12. X minus 3. Okay, so this will give you 2 points now, which is x equals to 0 and x equals to 3. Okay, this is basic factorization. So, and as always, once you find the value of x, you want to find the value of y. Okay, so how do we find the value of y? We sub the x back into the original one. So we get the coordinate of according to here, x equals to 0, y is 1, and then x equals to 3, y is negative 26. So there are 2 coordinates, 0 and 1, and then 3 and negative 26. Okay, now, of course, my point is to talk about this one first. Okay, so 0 and 1. So if we use the sketch the graph method, okay, we know that the x coordinate is 0. Okay, so we start with 0 and then we take 0.5 before and 0.5 after. If you want 0.5 also can, but I use 0.5. Okay, so 0.5 and 0.5. I'm slightly different from the textbook lah. Tapi kita pakai the same. Did I teach you 0.1 or 0.5? I think I taught you 0.5, right? Yeah, we use 0.5 lah. Okay, same method. So dy dx. Okay, can you calculate the dy dx, please? Dy dx is dy dx is 4x cubed minus 12x squared. 4x cubed minus 12x squared. Okay, kalau kita punya x adalah negative 0.5, can you tell me what is the dy dx?
Negative 1.5.
And the other side?
Negative 0.5.
Okay, negative 0.5. So you notice that the sign for the dy dx is negative 0 and it still stays as negative. So if the sign doesn't change, means our graph is like this, kan? Because it's negative 0 and then negative again. So dia punya bentuk adalah macam ni. Okay, so therefore, what is the point again? 0 and 1. Okay, 0 and 1 is a point of inflection. Okay, cukup. Dan ini cara kita membuktikannya. Make sure that the gradient is the same after the 0. Okay, so what we're doing is we're taking what we've learned last week and we're just using the same thing to prove the point of inflection. And I want to stress this very important thing. You cannot prove a point of inflection, okay lah, at this level you cannot prove the point of inflection, okay, dengan menggunakan d2y dx2. Ini tak boleh. Okay, d2y dx2 hanya membantu kamu untuk membuktikan whether it is a maximum or minimum turning point. Which is why I'm very, 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 very stressing this, that you must know how to prove the type of stationary point by using the sketch tangent. Okay, it's a very important skill. Okay, but we still have one more stationary point, which is 3 and negative 26. Okay, so we can use the same thing. If x equals to 3, we take 0.5 before and 0.5 after. So 2.5 and 3.5. Same thing, dy dx is 4x cubed minus 12x squared. Can somebody count this dy dx for me, please? Sorry, negative 12.5. 5. And the other side is? Oh, okay.
24.5.
Okay, 24.5. So we find that the sign changes from negative to become positive. Okay, now guys, listen to this. At this point, if you have already answered this question many times, you can actually stop here. You don't have to draw the graph. You don't have to, oh, okay, negative 0 and then positive, begitu. Actually, you don't need lah. All I need to know is just the sign changes from what to what. Okay, so if you understand this topic, this subtopic well enough, you can actually stop here and then you can say that ini membuktikan bahawa 3 and negative 26 is a, what is it, minimum or maximum?
Minimum.
Okay, it's a minimum turning point. Okay, actually you can stop here. You don't really have to draw lah if you don't want to. As long as you know the syarat. Kalau minimum turning point means negative tukar pergi positif. Kalau maximum turning point is positive tukar pergi negatif. Okay, but the sketch tangent method, this method, pakai jadual ini, sangat penting kalau kamu mau tentukan point of inflection. Because you cannot use d2y dx2 to prove the point of inflection. Okay, so please make sure that you know how to do the sketch tangent method. Okay, kira dy dx saja pun sebenarnya. Make sure that your calculator skills are good. Alright, so that's perkara pertama lah yang saya mau ajar. Okay, the second thing is we want to look at problems that involve maximum and minimum values of a function. Okay, so please turn to page 24. Okay, in your handout. Okay, page 24 in your handout. Now, I want to go straight into question 1 now. Okay, go straight to question 1. Do you guys have the handout? Okay, you are given L equals to x squared, 25 minus 2x. Then dia cakap find the value of x when L is maximum. Okay, and then determine the maximum value, okay, of L. Okay, so the first thing is this lah. Whenever you see a question like this, okay, when L is maximum, when this one, find something when L is maximum kan, okay, you need to set it in your mind that this is a differentiation question. Okay, tetapi oleh sebab kita punya equation adalah L sama dengan yada 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 di dalamnya adalah X, what will the differentiation look like? It cannot be dy dx because our equation is not y. Kan? What will the differentiation look like? It will be dy. I dy.
DL dx.
Okay, very good. dl dx is what we are looking for. Okay, we want it to be dl dx. Okay, so let's start with this. L equals to x squared times 25 minus 2x. Okay, can you suggest what I should do before I differentiate this?
Darab masuk.
Okay, very good. Darab masuk. Funders, tell me what it is.
25x square minus 2x cube.
Okay, minus 2x cubed. Teruskan, don't off your mic. Tell me what is dl dx. Kita kerjakan funders.
50x
Okay. Yeah.
minus 6x square.
Okay, minus 6x squared. Thank you. Now you can off your mic. Okay. Now, the next thing we know is because we are talking about maximum and minimum values, ini kamu mesti set. Okay. Kalau kamu nampak perkataan maximum minimum values, you need to set it in your mind that the differentiation, okay, is equals to 0. Mesti kamu set sudah. Ini fakta. Okay, because if we want to menjawab soalan kan, we need to have a strategy. If you want to do a strategy, you need to know the facts. And the facts is, when something is maximum or something is minimum, the differentiation is always 0. Okay, so dl dx equals to 0, and we will get 50x minus 6x squared. We will get two values of x. Okay, can you tell, I think only one value of x, sorry, one value of x. And somebody tell me what is the value of x? Pakai EQN pun boleh ya guys. Tidak payah buang masa dengan differentiate dengan factorize. Just pakai EQN saja. Tell me, x equals to and x equals to
25/3.
25/3 and ada dua
Zero.
nilai. Okay, and 0. Okay, now according to the calculator, bila kamu EQN ini, you will get two values. Definitely. Okay, calculator akan bagi kamu two values. But, okay, this one kita mesti reject because x tidak boleh sama dengan kosong. Okay, and I will come to this in a little while lah. So kita hanya pakai ini sahaja. Okay, so we say that L is maximum when x is 25/3. Okay, but the thing is this lah. The thing is this. You need to prove that this one is a maximum turning point. Okay, so what do? You do d2y dx2. Okay, you can use sketch a tangent, no problem. You can use sketch a tangent if you want, but I'm going to use d2y dx2. Okay, oh sorry, bukan d2y pula kan? Dia adalah d2l dx2. Okay, so if if dl dx is this, what is d2l dx2? Somebody? Differentiate this for me, please.
50 minus 12x.
Okay, 50 minus 12x. Okay, now, we already established the second derivative, if you remember, second derivative, we need to sub the x in. X yang kita mau cari bahkan. So we need to sub the x in. Kalau jawapan kita negatif, then it's a maximum. Kalau jawapan kita positif, then it's a minimum. So we are hoping that when I sub 25/3 inside here, saya mengharapkan mendapat jawapan apa? Positif ke negatif?
Positif.
Negatif.
Nah, mana satu? Okay, kita mengharapkan mendapat jawapan negatif. Barulah terbukti bahawa, oh dia maksimum pula sebab dia punya d2l dx2 negatif. Okay, so let's prove it. 50 minus 12 times 25 over 3. What do we get?
Negative 50.
Negative. Really, meh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine. Negative 50. Okay, so proven already, d2l dx2 is negative. Okay, so x is a maximum point. Okay, this is the pembuktian. Tapi soalan dia minta determine the maximum value of L lah. So the last step you need to do is sub x into L. Okay, so you get 25 over 3. So L equals to x squared 25 minus 2x. Okay, you sub the 25 over 3 squared. 25 minus 2 times 25 over 3. Okay, and what is your final answer?
15625 over 27.
Sorry, what do you say? Can you repeat that?
15625 over 27.
Yeah, okay, 15625 over 27. Good enough. Okay, as long as your calculation is correct, is this what you got, Sean? Terus kau tidak confident, kan?
ngam.
Yeah. Okay, ngam already, so don't worry about it. Okay, but that's okay. This is basically how a question like this would work lah. Okay, usually there is a formula, there is an equation that is given, and then they ask you to find the maximum value. Okay, but in order to find the maximum value, you need to find the x or the whatever letter is inside that makes it the maximum value. Okay, but you also have to prove that that value is a maximum value. Okay, so dia ada banyak step lah. Dia ada banyak step, but this is a very commonly asked question. Okay, I want you to take a look at question page 26. Okay, page 26. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why I'm rushing through this, but I feel that you guys need to do this now. Okay, page 26. I'm going to do question number 2 lah. Okay, I'm going to do question number 2. So the diagram below, you have this, and then you have the radius over here, and then the height is over here lah. Okay, so you're saying the total surface area, okay, is 300 centimeters squared. Okay, so the question is, express h in terms of r. That's the first one. Okay, express h in terms of r. Okay, so how we would do about this now? Okay, so one of the uses lah, salah satu kegunaan of this maximum minimum thing yang kita banyak bercakap is in questions like this. Okay, they give you a cylinder. Look at question number 1. They give you a box. Okay, and then look at question number 3. They give you a circle. So this is where everything comes into play, and that's why I said you cannot limit yourself to just dy dx, dy dx, dy. No, it can be any letter. Okay, as long as you know how to form the equation. Okay, so the only information they give you is this total surface area. Does anybody remember what is the total surface area for cylinder? The formula for total surface area? Yeah. Oh dear. Sorry, I'm laughing because every time I ask this question, I'm sure everybody's like, okay. Does anybody remember? What is the total surface area for a cylinder?
Pi r square h.
Pi r square is only the area for one circle.
Pi r square h.
Pi r square h is the volume. I don't want volume.
2
Yeah.
pi square.
2 pi r squared
Plus 2 pi RH.
plus 2 pi r h. Okay, guys, do you know how to count surface area? Surface area is the area plus the area plus the area at the bottom. If you open up a cylinder, it consists of 3 parts, bahkan. The 2 circles, the top and the bottom circle, and then the this part kan, kalau saya buka, sebenarnya dia adalah satu rectangle. Kan? Okay, so the surface area of this is pi r squared, sebab luas bulatan. Surface area of this is pi r squared. So bila kamu campur dua-dua ini, you will get 2 pi r squared. Okay. And then on top of that, this whole thing bahkan, okay, yang dia punya lilitan di bawah sini ni is this one lah. Kan? Ini adalah H, dia punya tinggi. So the lilitan is 2 pi r. So how do you calculate the area of a box? Height times, base times. Apa itu panjang darab lebar bahkan? Panjangnya 2 pi r, lebarnya H. So bila kamu darab, kau akan dapat 2 pi r H. You campur semua sekaligus. Okay? Yeah, I can imagine some of your faces were like, how come we were never taught this before? No, you were definitely taught this before, but you probably have forgotten. Okay? Please remember this. But okay, so we know that 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h equals to 300 total surface area. Okay, so I'm going to start with this. 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h equals to 300. Soalannya adalah express h in terms of r. Express h in terms of r means I have to change this so that saya dapat h sama dengan blah 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 blah. And then inside this blah 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 adalah huruf r di sana. Okay, sama ada satu kali ke, dua kali ke, tiga kali, doesn't matter. As long as di sebelah kiri adalah h sahaja, then everything else is on the right side. Okay, can you try this first, please? This is a basic math skill. Everybody needs to know this. Change this equation so that h is on one side, the rest of it is on the other side. Okay, do it now. Do it now.
H equal to negative 2 pi r. Not sure.
Where did the 300 go?
Oh man, oh, sorry.
Sir,
Yeah,
can I try?
go ahead.
300 minus 2 pi r square over 2 pi r.
Okay, I think that is a logical conclusion. Saya boleh terima ni actually. It can be simplified lah, but saya boleh terima. Actually, you know what? Actually cannot lah. Perlu disimplify juga. Sorry, perlu kena simplify sikit. Cuba kau tengok jawapan yang dia bagi di sana. Do you know how to get that jawapan?
The bawah punya 2 300 bagi 2 and then 2 also cancel.
Correct. So you get H equals to 300 bagi 2 is 150. So 150 minus pi r squared over pi r. Okay. So actually what I think it was Faradila, right? So actually what Faradila did is correct. You move lah. Kau pindah semua satu persatu. Okay. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear the rain. It's pretty noisy. Kau pindah semua satu persatu. Lepas itu, kamu simplify. Make sure you are able to simplify it. Okay, the answer is over there lah. Okay. Now, the question is, show that the volume of the cylinder V is given by blah, 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 blah. Okay. How do we count the volume of cylinder?
Pi r square h.
Okay, pi r squared h. So I'm going to call the volume equals to pi r squared h. Tapi, cuba kamu tengok dalam soalan. Soalan dia minta semua dalam huruf R saja kan? Do you see the H there? You don't see the H. Kan? So what do you think we should do? How do we get rid of this H?
Substitute the value of h equals to 150 minus pi r square over pi r.
Okay, very good. So you substitute the H over here. Then you simplify. So V equals to pi r squared and then 150 minus pi r squared over pi r. Okay. Now let's simplify this. The pi and the pi over here can cut. Ini tak boleh sentuh guys sebab this is two terms. Okay. Don't touch this. Leave it alone. Okay. And then on top of that, this r squared and this r boleh potong. So what are you left with? You are left with V equals to R times 150 minus pi R squared. Okay, and all you have to do is just multiply it in and you will get V equals to 150R minus pi R cubed. Seperti dalam soalan. Okay, and then take a look at question C. Baru dia cakap determine the maximum volume. Okay, of cylinder when R varies. Okay, so think about this now. What we have calculated just now is the V equals to 150 R minus pi R squared. Kita disuruh untuk mencari maximum volume. Maximum volume means apa dia punya syarat? Kalau dari segi V dan R. Think about it in terms of differentiation. What do we need to find? Kalau maximum volume. D what, D what?
DVDX.
DVDX.
DVDR.
DVDR. Okay, and because it's maximum, DVDR will be equal to
0.
the DVDR must be equal to 0. Okay, so this is the stage where we do what we did with this question just now lah. Okay, with this question just now that you see lah. Okay, you differentiate, kasih sama dengan kosong, find the different values of R, and then prove whether it is maximum or minimum, baru kamu sub into the V. So saya tinggalkan sampai sini saja. I want you to do this question on your own. But I want you to see that actually the process is the same. Okay, cuma dalam soalan ini dia kasih tambah-tambah sikit lah. Dia suruh kamu ingat balik benda yang kamu belajar dalam math. But actually the process is the same. Okay, first thing you do is you differentiate. Then you kasih sama dengan kosong. Find the values of X. You should get 3 values of X actually, but never mind lah. Okay, and then after that you have to prove. Kamu kena buktikan whether it is maximum or minimum. Dia memang maximum lah. Okay, and then after that you find the maximum volume. So the step is the same, cuma the question now will be very, very different. Okay, dia akan banyak bentuk lah. So question number 1 is a box, different formula. Question number 3 is just a sector of a circle, which we learned in chapter 1. Okay, so you know differentiation that is why differentiation is very amazing lah, because everything comes into play in differentiation. Okay, if you do enough questions, trust me, you will love this chapter. Well, you will love this chapter as much as you love NMATS. Hopefully you love NMATS. Okay, so just to guide you lah, okay, can you differentiate this for me please? DVDR please. Because I want to address an issue over here. The issue is always with this pi.
150 minus 3 pi r squared.
Okay, 3 pi r squared. Guys, remember, pi is just a number. Okay, and because pi is just a number, we don't touch the power of pi. Okay, and because we are differentiating terhadap R saja yang kena berubah dia punya kuasa. I feel like I'm shouting in today's class because I feel like I'm fighting the rain. Okay, then after that you do the same thing lah. Okay, DVDR so equals to 0, 150 minus 3 pi r squared. Okay, at this stage, what you can do is you can substitute the pi inside if you want. Okay, so 3.142 times 3 okay, and then lepas tu kau guna EQN lah. You memang akan dapat jawapan yang pelik-pelik sikit. Okay, but the process is the same. Okay, you will get 2 values lah. R equals to 0 and R equals to something, something, something. This one we reject. Okay, because R cannot be 0. No, there is no cylinder if there is no radius. Okay, so R memang tidak boleh 0. So you reject. So you find this value of R. Then you prove. Okay, D2V dr squared. Okay, prove that it is maximum. Baru kamu cari the maximum V. Okay, you should get about the same answer as the answer in the paper over there lah. Okay? Okay, please turn to your textbook. Okay, we're going to end soon, but I want to kind of discuss your homework questions so that you don't like terpinga-pinga masa menjawab. Turn to page 64. Okay? Obviously, your homework today is only How many questions do you want? Should I give you many questions? I can see you all saying, no, 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 sir, please have mercy on us. No, no. Okay, but actually I would say that this paper, okay, page 24, 25, 26 lah. Okay, you need to answer the questions in here first. Okay, baru kamu jawab the homework questions. Okay, page 64, everyone. I'm just going to go through with you how to answer each question. Okay, question number 1, page 64. Okay, 64. A wire of length 80 centimeters is bent to form a sector of POQ of a circle with a center O. So what this means is you have one long wire and then you bengkok-bengkokkan to show a piece of a sector. What does a sector look like? Somebody said this the last time we talked about this. Apa bentuk sector?
Pizza.
Okay, it looks like a pizza. I hope nobody is hungry. But anyway, this is a sector. We're going to say this is POQ because O is the center of the circle. You are given OQ is R and POQ is theta, radian. Okay? And we know that the whole length, okay, the length is, apa dia tu? Yeah, 80 centimeters. Okay? Can you form the equation? Show that the area, if you want to find this one, we have to talk about the R first. Okay, what can I do with this length? 80 sama dengan apa? This whole thing is,
Theta.
R
Bukan.
theta. R theta is just here. This is R theta, bahkan.
Plus R plus R.
Plus R plus R. Okay, let's simplify this. 80 equals to 2R plus R theta. Okay, and therefore, kalau saya factorize R keluar, 2 plus theta, okay, equals to, oh no, tak boleh, sorry. Okay, wait, let me, I'll stop here first. Dia mau cari area bahkan. What is the formula of the area of a sector? Baru kau tahu. That's why we studied this in chapter 1. Area of sector?
1/2 R square theta.
R square theta, okay. Tapi tengok dia mau kita prove supaya the area equals to 1/2 R and then 80 minus 2R. Kan? Okay. So how do I do that? Can you figure out how to put this inside here so that I can get this?
Pindah-pindah.
Tell me what to pindah-pindah.
80 equals to 2R plus R theta.
Okay. So what should I do with this? 80 equals to 2R plus R
After
theta.
that, when you find the theta equals to, you sub into the formula.
Okay, that's one way of doing it. I think that's a very good suggestion. You tukar ini jadi theta, baru kamu sub inside. So kau tengok jawapan akhir kita kan, tiada theta ini, tinggal R saja. So you have to make the theta disappear. Actually, that's a very good suggestion, okay, from Sean. And I think you guys should work on it lah. If you have better suggestions, you can try it out when you answer the question later lah. But from Sean, that was a very good suggestion, okay? And then question B, same thing lah, find the maximum area. Okay, kalau find the maximum area, we need to use this formula only. Okay, so A equals to 1/2 R 80 minus 2R. What is the differentiation? D what, D what? Anybody? D what, D what?
DA DR.
DADR.
Okay, dA, dr. Okay, you need to simplify this now, of course. Then you find the differentiation. Then lepas tu kau buat step yang sama. Differentiation equals to 0. Find the value of R. Make sure that it's maximum and then find the maximum area. Okay, how do you find the maximum area? Ganti R balik ke dalam sini. Okay, so let's say during exam lah, what if you don't know how to do question A? You don't know how to show. Okay, can you still do question B? You can, because Show questions, soalan show lah, okay, atau proof, okay, soalan membuktikan, soalan tunjukkan. The answer is already there. They've already given you the answer. You just have to find it. Okay, so even if you cannot do question A, you can still do question B. Okay, for every question in this series. Okay, in this self exercise 2.11. Okay, of course, it is good if you can do question A, and that's why I'm here to guide you now lah. Okay, but you should be able to do question B on your own. Okay, number 2. Same thing, piece of wire of length 240 is bent to make a shape, yada yada yada. Express y in terms of x. So this is our pentagon over here. This is 13x. This is 13x. This is y. This is 24x. This is y. Okay, can you form the equation? The wire is 240 centimeters.
50x plus 2y.
240 equals to 50x plus 2y. How do you get 50x plus 2y? What's that, Marvin? Okay,
Yeah.
you tambah semua inilah. Okay, tambah semua ini because this is one wire yang panjangnya 240 dikasih bengkok supaya ada 5 bahagian. But the question is, express y in terms of x. Okay, what does this question mean? Express y in terms of x means jawapan akhir kamu mesti apa dia punya permulaan?
Y.
Y equals to bla 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 bla. Ini sangat senang lah. Mau tukar daripada ini kepada yang y equals to is kacang putih. Okay, so do that lah. Okay, then dia cakap show that the area enclosed by the wire. Okay, how do I find the area of this? The interesting question. Yeah. How do I find the area of this?
Area of triangle di atas tambah dengan area of rectangle.
Okay, very good. So the area of triangle plus the area of the rectangle. Can you tell me what's the area of triangle? It's very interesting. Wow.
24x minus y times with 24x times with 1/2.
How do you get 24x minus y?
Sorry, bukan.
Interesting, Okay, let me break down the triangle for you, This is 13x, this is 13x, okay? How do I find the area of this triangle? Area is half times the base times the height. What is the base?
24.
Okay, the base is 24x lah, so no problem. Now my problem is the height. How do I find this height?
Pythagoras.
Okay, Pythagoras. Okay, if Pythagoras, then this is how much?
12.
This is 12x bahkan, same sebutan.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this is 13, this is 12. If you know your magic triangles, you will know that this is actually 5x. Okay, so the area of the triangle is 1/2 times 24x times 5x plus area of rectangle is 24x times y lah. Okay, but take a look at question B. Question B kan, dia punya show question kan. The last answer is A equals to 2880x minus 540x squared. Notice that there's no y in this equation. Padahal in our equation here, the area is ada x dan ada y di sini. Tapi kita mau tukar ini menjadi ini. So what would you suggest?
Substitute value of y yang dekat jawapan A.
Very good. Okay, so you substitute the value of y in jawapan A ke dalam y di sini. So that semua adalah x. Okay, so you notice this, we only want 2 letters involved. Sebab bila kita differentiate, we only need 2 letters. if you look at all the equation yang kita buatkan, dy dx huruf y huruf x saja. We don't want a third letter. Okay, kita tidak mau parti ketiga yang menyebuk-nyebuk terus jadi tiang lampu. Okay, we don't want. We only want two people involved in the equation. Kalau x dan y lah. Kalau a dan x lah. Jangan lagi ada y di sana. That's why you need to substitute, okay, into this equation. Okay, so saya tunjuk sampai sini sahaja. Okay, I need to discuss question number 3. Last question, then we'll call it a day. Okay, question number 3, because obviously you know that this is going to be your homework lah. Okay, factory produces a cylindrical, okay, cylindrical closed containers for drinks. Each container has a volume of 32 pi centimeter cube. Okay, let's talk about the volume formula for cylinder. Once again, what's the volume formula? What's the volume formula for cylinder?
Pi r square h.
Okay, pi r squared h equals to 32 pi. Okay, we start from there first. Then dia cakap, the cost of the material to make the top and bottom covers is 2 cents per centimeter squared. Okay, 2 cents per centimeter squared. Tapi ini adalah top and bottom cover ni. Okay, the cost of making the curved surface is 1 cent per cm squared. So this is the top two covers and this is the curved surface over here. Okay, bila kamu nampak ini centimeter squared kan, what are we thinking about? Are we thinking about volume or are we thinking about area?
Area.
We're thinking about the area. Okay, now if you remember from the question just now, area of cylinder, astaga, is this one. Okay, 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Okay, so the area is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Okay, now, if you want to show the cost, okay, then it will be, the cost will be 2 times 2 pi r squared plus 1 times 2 pi r h. Kan sebab ini adalah 2 cents, kalau yang bulat di atas itu kan is 2 cents each lah. Okay, and then the square over here is 1 cent each. Okay, so let me call the cost, kita panggil the cost as huruf C. Okay, tapi kamu mau buktikan C equals to 4 pi r squared plus 64 pi over r. Okay, apakah huruf yang perlu dihilangkan in this equation?
H.
How do I make the H disappear? Express what?
H into H in terms of blah blah blah.
Okay, express H in terms of blah blah blah. Which equation are we talking about? Which one should I express?
Yang pi r square h.
Volume
Okay,
punya.
the volume punya equation. Kita dapatkan H sama dengan yada-yada supaya kamu boleh ganti masuk di sini. Okay, now I know I'm going a little bit too fast. Okay, maybe some of you are still wondering macam mana sir dapat begini. Okay, so I will try to post this video up as soon as I can. Okay, and then you try to watch it again now. Watch it slowly and try to understand. Basically, but as I said before, this particular chapter is difficult if your basic maths you have forgotten the basic maths. Things like area of cylinder, area of pyramid, area of cone, ini semua kau kena ingat ini. Tiada formula akan diberi. Semua pelajar AdMath we expect AdMath students to know the formula like that. Okay, yeah, that's our expectation. Okay, but of course the reality, yeah, I can make a TikTok video based on the reality lah. Okay, so anyway, please know this lah. Okay, you are expected to know. Tiada formula diberi, kau mesti tahu sudah. Okay, by heart. Okay, so your work for today very simple ni. Okay, page 62. Okay, self exercise 2.10, question number 2. And then page 64 and 65, self-exercise 2.11, question number 1 to 3. Okay,